Oh man,
Wow.
sometimes I'm a boomer and sometimes I'm a genius. And so for the last 2 seconds, a genius. Prior to that, a boomer. So
All's
all
well
right,
that ends well, Todd. I'm looking forward to this. Do you have any idea what you're thinking about drawing for us?
never. I'm just gonna draw something crazy. Right,
I
like
love it.
crazy always works because there's no wrong on crazy. So
There's no wrong on crazy.
right. So I don't have a lot of layers. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it depends on how I get going here. But I have. If you guys can see over here on the left, I've got my pens, so I can sort of erase if I want to. I can do my pens. I can change colors if I want to do a different color. Right, wherever I touch on the screen, if I go up and down here. So even if I want to do some color, depending how much time we have, we could do that. But for now, we'll just go black. That's easy. And then over here is the size of the pen, right? So if I do like a 6, as you can see, it's pretty thin.
Mhm.
It's pressure sensitive. So if I push harder, you get it. But you get a bigger, obviously, line. If I go to 20, oddly, if I go light at 20, but if I go hard at 20, then you can see how much sort of bigger and fatter you can get, right? So anyway,
This is awesome. What program is this? People are asking.
I use for drawing. I use Clip Studio. Here, I'll flash you real quick a cover that we're just showing. You guys get a first look here real quick, but there's a cover right here, so you can see. Whoop.
Uh-oh.
But you can see, like, if you go in, all the detail and stuff that I can get on a drawing pretty easily. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Todd, is there anything specific you want to talk about before we start bringing guests up?
No, just well, everybody saw that for whatever reason since the election, crypto has gone flying high. So anybody who had crypto is doing good probably in the last 3 or 4 days.
Absolutely.
So hopefully that'll grab a couple headlines and maybe get people a little more interested in sort of the digital community that we all live in. So
Absolutely. It's only a matter of time. People are going to get that FOMO.
yeah, to some extent, right? I mean, because what's going to happen is, and there's no reason why what happens with digital coins, it can't happen with stocks. Is that, and I've seen it before. You have a stock, it's at $40. They do a earnings call because they have to do it every 90 days, right? They have their quarterly report. They have to go public. And all of a sudden, sometimes you get like some big, massive hit, and the stock within a week will jump. Then after the earnings, will jump from like $40 to 70, and it's interesting because people go, "Oh man, I missed the boat," right? I remember this clearly years ago when Tesla made one of their first reports, and it jumped from 40 to 70, and everybody thought that was it, right? And now, minus the splits, I think that stock would be like $3,800, right?
Yeah,
That
ridiculous.
so even at 70, and that wasn't that long ago. Even at 70, where you go, oh man, it doubled from 40 to 80. Oh man,
Missed it.
you would have been there. So you keep hearing these crazy numbers of that people keep saying like Bitcoin is going to get to. So if those crazy numbers ever hit, then oddly, where it's at right now is a cheap number, right? So
Seriously, even Tesla's up $70 since 4 days ago. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Everybody on the Tesla ride too. Yeah, there's been a handful of them that just gone crazy. So we'll see if they can sustain. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, you heard the man, folks. If you haven't even learned about cryptocurrency or blockchain yet, I recommend just dipping your toes in. And there's no better way than collecting free Todd McFarlane spawn covers here at OddKey. You don't even have to put money into it, and you can, figure out how the chain works. So
yeah, I would say it's not for the faint of heart. because it seems like unlike stocks that sort of go up a decent amount and down a decent amount, the swings in cryptocurrency are a lot wilder. So if you gotta be somebody who likes roller coasters, because when it's up, it's fantastic. When it comes down, you go woo, oh, woo, oh, woo, oh. But the ups and downs seem to be like closer together than an average stock. So it's also kind of entertaining on that front too.
Oh yeah, it's been a wild ride these past few years, and there's a lot of people in the audience that have ridden with us. So hope you guys are still holding. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and start bringing up some people for questions. Again, if you guys have questions for Todd here and you don't want to come up on stage, go ahead and type them out in chat. Or there's a hand icon down at the bottom. You should be able to click that hand icon, and we will bring you up to ask the questions yourself. Cheespawn, you were first. Welcome to the stage, man. What's going on?
Hey guys. Todd.
Yep.
About 2 or 3 weeks ago, the 50-50 ball sold for $4.4 million at auction.
Wow, I didn't. Wow, somehow I missed that.
Did you? I was wondering if you were the owner of the.
Oh no! So it sold for 4.4.
That's what I hear, and the owner has not come forward yet. So I thought, well, maybe there's
I thought they said a young kid got that ball.
I do not know. I think maybe a young kid originally got it, and then it went to auction or something.
Yeah, the kid who caught it, the Dodgers actually offered him $300,000 as he was leaving the stadium, but he said no.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. What was the one? There was another one that people fought over that they said they were going to put up to auction, and then just put the money in escrow, and then sort it out afterward, because they should have done that with the Barry Bonds ball, the ball I had. They should have done that because they spent too much time fighting over it, and by the time they got around to selling it, then people were less interested in it. So, but anyways, 4.4 for sitting there getting the baseball, not bad, right?
Yeah, I knew you were the current. Well, you were the previous top ball. You know, you had a $3 million ball.
Yeah, so somebody finally got dumber than me. Man, I don't have the mantle of being the biggest cement head. I'm gonna have to get that information, show my wife, because she's been going, what are you doing? That's redonkulous. And I'm like, oh yeah, well there's another guy that's more redonkulous than me.
There you go.
That's funny. Just to sort of go on a sidetrack a little bit, the ball I bought was the 70 ball that Mark McGwire hit, right, to set the home run record at that time, although a couple of years later Barry Bonds came and broke it. But that last game, it came in the last game of the season, he hit 2 home runs that day, right? So can you imagine if you're the person who caught the 69 ball, how much you're going, please, don't get another at bat, right?
Yeah.
Or walk him, right? Or let him hit a double, triple, anything. You can do anything right now except for don't hit it out of the ballpark, because I've got gold I'm holding right now. And unfortunately, his prayers were not answered, because a few innings later, McGwire steps up and hits it into the private box with where you can hold parties, if you're like a corporation, and the kid who got it, which is the guy I bought it from, he wasn't a kid, he was actually an adult, but he wasn't even paying attention to the game. He's not even a baseball fan. He was at the back of the room at the nacho bar, and the ball came screaming into the clubhouse place where everybody was, and they all missed it, and it went bam, and it went all the way back to the buffet, and he just went, hey, what's this? And he picked it up and got it.
Paid for his nachos.
So the guy who was like the like unconcerned about any of it as the guy ends up with the ball. It was funny. So maybe, who knows? It'd be interesting to see how that kid got it. It's like maybe he was going to get like a hot dog and just happened to be at the right place at the right time. So.
Oh, for the Otani ball? No, it was an absolute dog pile. There was like probably 25 people on each other fighting for that ball. It was pretty ridiculous.
Oh man.
Yeah, not quite the random nacho guy.
Oh, shoot. Well, like I said, that went into a one of those suites, those corporate suites, right? Yeah. So there couldn't be, on the McGuire ball, there couldn't be the scrum, right? There was a scrum, like I said, on the Barry Bonds ball that ended up breaking the record. It's still a record today. So, but anyways, good fact. I'm telling my wife as soon as she gets home.
Okay, well, before I leave the stage, I just want to say, go Scorched!
Go Scorched! We like the Scorched. I was just having a conversation about it today with somebody.
That's awesome. Shout out She-Spawn, always representing. What's going on, Bull? Welcome to stage, man.
What's going on? Thanks for doing this, Todd. I just had a question. I don't know if you had any information you could share, if there was an update on the Kickstarter.
Oh yeah, actually, I was gonna send out one to everybody. The first batch of figures has already left China, so I wanted to make sure that we were. The goal was to be able to ship something here by the end of the year, even if it meant sending only 10 to the closest island to Hong Kong, right? Like I go, good. But they put together a container. The way that it works is they manufacture. They then, once they're done manufacturing each one of the items, they then stack them. They bring in a truck brings in one of these sort of big containers that you see on ships, but they actually come on the back of a flatbed truck. They load it up. They then drive it from inland China down across the sort of the main checkpoint, and then they go into Hong Kong. And for any of you who've never been to Hong Kong, if you Google it and you go Hong Kong ports, just put in Hong Kong shipping ports, it's crazy how massive and how big it is, as you can imagine, given the number of products that come out of that country. So anyways, I just go, guys, as soon as you have some of this stuff baked, get it out. So they just gave me notice the other day that they shipped a container of about 3,800 of the pieces, right? It's not all of them. I mean, it's the beginning, right? So about 3,800 of the pieces they put into a container. They kept some for themselves for some international, but the 3,800 are now on a boat heading towards America. And as soon as they get here, then we'll zip them out. Usually takes about 3 weeks. It takes about 3 weeks to get to sail across the water. So that puts that boat in here beginning of December, and the shippers that I have here in California, as soon as they get it, they should be literally just turning it around. They'll have the paperwork already. So here we go. And then that process will, for all intents and purposes, play out every week, because they'll manufacture items, and then every week they'll then take those items and ship them into Hong Kong, and they'll begin again and do it all over again. So what that means, and they're not doing it in any specific order. They're just doing. I just told them, whatever you get done, put it out. So I think some of the early items coming out right now are going to be, I think, the unsigned blue classic figure. So I think they just said that's the easiest for them, was to just do the classic figure, not worry about the signatures at that point, just get it all done and push it out the door. So that's it. They're on their way. They're coming. I was gonna send an alert out to everybody to give them that heads up, but now you got it before anybody else. So.
Can I sneak in one more question?
Do it.
Can you give a little bit of the backstory of the Lady Death cover that you did?
Yeah, that was another Kickstarter item that Brian Polito did, correct?
Well, he put it up for order for a couple days, and you could order a copy.
Yeah. Yeah, this is an interesting story. So Brian Polito, a comic book guy, again, I assume that people listening don't know as much as I do. So he's a comic book dude, and years and years and years and years ago, I got to meet him. He lives in the Phoenix area. I live in the Phoenix area, and he has this character called Lady Death, who was doing really well for him. He's since done a lot of stuff on Kickstarter with that character, but he came up to me and he said, "Hey, Todd, is there any way I can sort of figure out how to repurpose some artwork? Because years ago I did I think, in all honesty, if I remember right, I think it was a Lady Death Spawn cover I did. Right? It was a combo, and so I just said, hey, you know what? I don't usually lend out like Spawn, just lend them out like that. But if you want to do a Lady Death cover, then technically you could just crop her out of that cover, do a different coloring, do a new coloring on it, and whatever else. And so he took me up on that, and so that's basically how that came about. It's him doing a clever repurpose of something that we had done long time ago. I think this was like right around the time that Image was just beginning, right? So, I mean, I'm going way back. My guess is that I did that drawing in the 90s, possibly even. So,
wow, very cool. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Thanks for coming up, and Bull. Hope you have a good Friday night. Gonna keep going through the list of people. Again, reminder, if you guys want to ask a question, please raise your hand. What's going on, Giorgio? Welcome to stage.
Hey, how you guys are doing?
We're killing it. What about you?
Oh, everything is going good here, Todd. I didn't want to keep your time here. Also, again, thank you so much for sharing my YouTube video. But huh?
No, our pleasure. So,
Yeah, and I hope you guys are doing well. So my question is actually about Spawn 77. I know you had talked about the character that was briefly at New York Comic Con, but I wasn't able to see anything from that. So I want to know, can you tell us how that version of Spawn differs from Al Simmons that we all currently know, or what can you tell us to get us hyped about Spawn 77?
So, as some of you may or may not know, and I created Spawn in the year 1977 when I was 16 years old, right? So that's when I, was sort of got smitten by comic books. I started creating my own characters. I had a whole bunch of them, but my favorite by far was this character that I dubbed Spawn. And so I created them. We recently did a toy of that version that people were like, this doesn't look like Spawn. It's like, oh yeah, it does. If you're looking at the 16-year-old version of Spawn that I created when I was a schmuck, that's exactly what he looked like. And so, anyways, and having conversations with a couple different people, Mark Spears being one of them, we were just sort of reminiscing about some of the sort of the fun stuff that was out there. And he said, "Hey, I've got an idea. I'd like to pitch you. About that look, right? Because I don't know whether I had showed it to him or he had found it on the internet. That 16-year-old drawing, and he just thought it was kind of cool. So it's not. And so the story, I go, wow. Mark and another writer that I've been speaking to, that I go, it can't be Al Simmons because that's just not who it is, right? Because I don't want, and I don't even want it to be a Hellspawn. In the in the truest sense, because I like those. To me, house spawns should be kind of rare. They just don't pop up like every decade. It's like almost every century. So,
Oh, okay.
But what the idea is a little bit is that given that there have been house spawns throughout time, their legend has been written about in places. So somebody then says, "Oh man, I heard about that guy. I came across it." Like if you read something about like Julius Caesar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go, I'm gonna fucking knock off and be a modern day Julius Caesar, right? So
Yeah.
so it doesn't mean that you will be. It just means you have the aspiration. So wanting to be a house spawn and actually being one are two different things, right? So if you think
Mhm.
about it in an oddly simple way, that somebody is basically just doing sort of cosplay, that they've taken
Oh.
like the legend of these hellspawn and they go, shit, I'm going to use that for myself. And so
Hmm.
it's less about like creatures from hell in the truest sense, and guys with goo and like spawn, big flowing cape, as it is more like I what I was saying to him is like I want to do a book that's like I don't know, and I'm going to use an old movie maybe most of you haven't seen, called The French Connection, right? And The French Connection took place in the 70s in like New York, underneath like the subways and stuff like that. It was really cool. It was a really cool, gritty uh, movie about detectives sort of hunting down drug addicts and stuff like that. So I go, hey, if we can sort of come up with a world like that, that would be a different take on Spawn, then I think that would be cool. And so that's sort of where it blossomed from. And then, again, what will happen in our continuity is that, 10, 15 years later, after this Spawn 77, an actual real Spawn will come along, an actual real Hell Spawn, and that guy's name will be Al Simmons, right? The world doesn't know that he's about to come. There's just somebody that's sort of play acting a little bit, but that play acting is going to get him in trouble because, as you can imagine, there are people and creatures and things on Earth who despise Hellspawn. So you put on the costume, they're going to think that you're the real deal, and they're going to fucking come for you. So the guy thinking that he can just sort of have fun and role play is going to find out that he's in for basically the time of his life, and not in a good way. So.
Okay. Wow, that sounds really fun right there. I can't wait to buy those issues of that Spawn 77. So thank you for taking time to answer my question, and have a good night.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks,
All right,
Giorgio.
thanks.
Hope you have a good Friday. What's going on, Ric Flair? Welcome to the stage.
Woo! What's going on, guys?
Man, Ric Flair's everywhere. Everywhere I look,
What's going
there's Ric
on,
Flair.
Todd?
There's a Ric Flair everywhere, dude. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Hey, so my question is, Todd, how do you end up finding these artists who end up blowing up? Because the first time I've ever even heard of Mark was through you, who you brought him on through the platform to do some covers, and now like the guy since then has like he's done covers for DC. He's doing he just announced all the Thundercat stuff. He's doing Spawn 77. How do you find these guys? And like even his monster comic just is blowing up and stuff like that. How do you like find this talent like that?
Well, the talent's there. the question is, to your point, how do you go and turn over the rock and find it, right? So the easy part a little bit, it's kind of easier than you would think. Once you begin looking for artists on your social media stuff, you get these, and we all have them. You get these algorithms, right? And pretty soon the thing knows what you're looking for. So So if I go to like Instagram, and you know how it has like the little magnifying glass, the little search button, right? If I just hit that icon, just search, I don't even have to put a word in. I just have to hit it. It will populate my page with what it thinks that I want. And given that I've been looking at artists, it just slams it with all these artists that are on Instagram. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them that basically does the work for me. And so what I do is that then I just look at the images that I see. And if there's something that intrigues me, I then will click on and go into their page and see whether that image that I'm looking at is a fluke, because sometimes it is. I hate to say it. Sometimes I see something, I go, oh man. And then I go and look on their page and it really is by far the best thing they've ever done. And I go, I don't see any consistency, right? So what I'm looking for when I go and look on their pages, I'm looking for consistency, right? Of whether the drawing that they happen to have posted, whatever it was, they and I go to their website on a good day, there's 20 other images on their website that are just as good, if not better. So so I during that sort of hunt, one of Mark's pieces of artwork must have come up, and so I when I find somebody, I go to their website, and if I really like it, I go, oh man, that's cool. I'll just send them a direct message. I'll DM them and just say, hey, my name's Todd McFarlane. I work in comics. I do this comic called Spawn. And I don't know if you've heard of it, but, I'm looking for artists, whatever. And I don't know if you have any time or interest, but, I think the fans would really dig your artwork on some of the characters that I have. And that's it. And then I just sort of sit back and see if they respond back. And obviously Mark did. And sort of the rest is history. So it's happened. What happened with Mark, and he was a talent before I found him. So it's not like I did anything for him other than, best I can take credit for is maybe give him a little bit bigger forum than he was getting himself. But I've always said, good talent will always get found, right? Like so if I hadn't given him a platform, he would have either created his own platform because he's pretty ambitious. Or somebody else would have just saw exactly what I saw, which was just like a ton of talent sitting there. And he was doing stuff over in the horror field. So this is just how it goes. And then once you do something and you get exposed, then yes, I think companies like Marvel and DC would be fools not to try and go and ask whether they want to do any artwork. So I've done it with a bunch of guys, and then all of a sudden, 5 days later, they're doing a Batman cover. So good on them, right? Good on them. I remember getting my first break, and I was very thankful for it. So any way I can help push somebody's talent that's already there into new arenas, then cool, right? But like I said, Mark is a talented, ambitious man. And is a super big talent. So good on him. I don't get to take much credit other than being smart enough. Look at it. It's just being smart enough to put Michael Jordan on the field sometimes, right? Like you just go, all right, I didn't do anything. Michael Jordan does all the work. I just happened to put him on the court. Like that's it. So.
Yeah, well, I'm super excited to see Spawn 77, man. I can't wait to see his artwork. And thank you for your time.
Sure.
Appreciate you coming up, Rick. Have a good Friday, man. We'll keep it rolling. Monkey, I shot you an invite. Welcome to stage.
Hey,
all right, hold there. Before we get there, like I don't know if you guys can see this drawing here I'm doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so I mean, it's always interesting because if you zoom in, it doesn't look like much, right? But one of the things, if some of you guys that are just curious, gals are curious, or are trying to, I'll tell you what I'm thinking of when I'm sort of drawing here. So you can draw the frame of the guy's face, which I have here, right? but especially like here where I'm doing like a monster, I put these little like little nicks and stuff on it. Like you see these little nubs and stuff that I'm doing here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That are up on there. I do that to make it so that it's not perfect, right? I like even I don't know if you guys can see even here, like along this nose, right? So you draw your line, you can draw your line, and then you just I put little divots in it and stuff like that, because what that does is it makes it imperfect, right? So and same with the teeth, that like the teeth can all be sort of at different angles and all gnarly and stuff. But then once you get small, it just gives, I think it just gives a bit of a texture that feels a little gnarly down here, right? And again, you put little hair and whiskers. Why? Because even if you get up close to a horse, they have like little hair chins and stuff like that. It's just sort of animalistic stuff. I did it up here, you know, a couple of little whiskers up in here and stuff like that. So you know, getting the basics of a monster down, I would argue, is kind of easy. And then the piece that I think really sort of sells it is like doing the stuff that just feels like there's a cool little odd texture to it, right? Up here where the like if you look down here, like it looks like part of his skin has been peeled away a little bit, right? Cool. It's just stuff. Instead of just trying to make it all, and I rarely try to make anything uniform, because I don't think that monsters and creatures groom themselves. I think actually the opposite. I think it's like having an animal out in the wild that is really musky and their skin is and their fur is all matted and stuff like that. They should just feel like a beast. So,
yeah.
Anyways, back to the question.
Back to the question. Monkey, the stage is yours. What's going on, man?
My question basically was, if you were starting from scratch today, if you were 18 or 19 trying to break into comics, what would you do differently than what you did when you originally broke in?
Probably I'd be doing a lot of what a lot of the guys are doing now. There's way more conventions than when I was a kid, as you can imagine. Like, you know, comic books were still considered to be juvenile, right? And there wasn't the big movies that were out that everybody was going to. So I didn't have the luxury of going to a lot of shows to show my stuff off, and I sure as heck didn't have a lot of shows to go to be able to do what they're doing now, where if you can get a little bit of table space, then you can basically do drawings and sketches like this one I'm doing right now. Somebody might have given me $10 for it or $15, and I could at least pay for my trip and my gas money to get to the show. And at the same time, while I'm there, take the odd break and go and try and pick the brains of the other people that are in Artist Alley with me, and or seek out some of the people who I've been collecting their stuff and seeing whether I can sort of get a few pointers from them, show them some of my artwork, and go around. So I don't know. I might have been doing exactly what a lot of people are doing, which is just, you know, turned into a cover artist, and go to conventions and just do cool stuff. So, but in my day, sound like an old man. In my, like, none of those options were there. So what we just all just assumed that when we got in, we were going to do monthly comic books. That was the goal. That was how you got to the top of the mountain. There was no other options. And so now fast forward, and, you know, those of us that broke in under those conditions, us old men, we're just like automatic of just doing work. We just work all the time. Because that was how we were trained when we broke in, when we were young, and now we've been at it for 30, 40 years, some of us more than that. And you just, it's just second nature now, right? So just doing work is just second nature. So I was writing a couple books today. When I was on the plane the other day, come back from New York, I was inking, finishing up, and began that cover that I showed you, right? The Deadly Tales cover right here. So I don't. So if today, I probably would be in a corner doing it and hoping that I could get discovered. But I probably would be quite content and quite happy to do commission work and making money, because you can make a decent living doing it. Which is why so many people are doing it. Or you could be a cover artist and sell your stuff. That's why so many people are doing it. So I probably wouldn't have been a monthly guy because there would have been too many other temptations.
Thank you.
Awesome question, Monkey. Thank you. Have a good Friday. What's going on, Texas Red? Welcome.
Texas Red.
You're muted, buddy. No, there you go. Tex, comms check. All right, well, while you're figuring that out, we're going to go ahead and bring the next person up. Jabezel.
Okay, so what I'm doing right now here, just so you can know, is that I'm doing the neck. And the thing about the neck is that you can do striations and they sort of cross over on each other, right? Mm-hmm. So this is that thing that, like, we all do it. Like, if you sort of get mad and you fucking grit your teeth, your veins pop, right? So now I'm just trying to do, like, give a little bit of semblance of, and this is this is the other piece about doing monsters, is trying to think that they're actually a real thing, so that they would have veins that would pop, right? And they would have, if you did a hook in their head, it might actually pull some of the skin, right? Which is some of these things here, because there'd be a membrane underneath it. So one of the things that I think matters is trying to think, like, right here. Let me go here. Like right here, trying to create the fat on his mouth. Like, if you look at our mouths and stuff, you know, it's how we sort of get a shape of our face. But if I go down here and I cut it off, there's a reason why it's a little bit more white in this area here, and this is darker, because I want this to feel like this is got a little more fat in it. So if you were to peel the skin, right, and then these lines here are just getting tight along the eye, but then I don't put as much here because I want it to open up, and the more you can have stuff sort of go in and out, the more it feels like it's a thing, a real thing. So, well, anyway, that's it. So again, that's just me. When I'm drawing, I'm actually sort of thinking about the whole anatomy of the creature. So,
monster anatomy is probably fun to play with.
Yep.
All right, we got some people. I see Tapine Woods. You hopped up on stage. What's going on, man?
Yeah. Oh, it's doing good, man. Do you know how many months I have waited for this moment to ask Todd? I have so many questions. Okay, but
let's keep it to one or two for now, please.
Oh man, my computer just went dead. I'll never be able to hear it.
Oh, speaking of computer going dead, Todd, your iPad's at 19%.
Oh, good call. Good call, my man. Okay, you pay attention to it, because I do this all the time. I go dead probably about.
I'll let you know when we get down to the wire.
Okay, no, when you see it at about like 6 or 7, just you got to remind me, because I got to go. My cord. Oh, hold a sec. I've got a cord right here. All right, let me see if I can put it in right now. So.
All right, Tapine, go ahead and ask your question, buddy.
Okay, so basically, how come, Todd, you literally never drawn a Transformer cover, since Skybound releases them anyways? Like, I've never seen a variant from you, but I mean, it would have been nice if you, like, drawn Optimus Prime in your style. That would have been really epic.
It would be awesome. Number one, Robert Kirkman hasn't asked me. I don't know if I say yes, so it's not like. Let me see here. I gotta turn this upside down. There you go. Right. So I can plug it in on that side. And probably, and a lot of times it's just, I usually try to stick around to stuff that is owned by Image. So in this case, it is Robert, but it's a brand that he doesn't own. So probably if he
So
asked me,
Hasbro, yeah.
yeah. So probably if he asked me, I'd probably say, hey, yeah, I'll do a cover. Don't you got something that you own? Right? Like I'll do a Walking Dead cover for you or something. But
Oh, that's good.
so but anyways, I'm pretty particular about, because I don't even do a lot of covers for my own book. So if I'm going to do it for somebody else, I usually like it to be toward the cause of sort of creator owned stuff. So, which is why earlier somebody was asking me about the thing with Brian Polito, right? So I just said, hey, Brian, I can't do a cover for you because your book isn't published at Image, and I just don't do that. But if there's a way for us to figure it out, which we did, which is him just cropping it, then I go, yeah, all the power to you. I'll be more than happy to give you the rights to use the artwork and whatever else. So you just figure it out. You just figure out ways to have fun.
Oh, that sounds really good. Oh, and also just one more. So basically, I'm working on a comic book issue. So basically, I'm working on a comic series, and I was just wondering, so do you guys, I mean, if I draw a cover and the rest of the pages, so the one who literally puts the title, the Image logo, is it you guys? Because I was trying to find on the internet some of those logos of Image, just so I can actually place it, so I could just see how it looks. I was just wondering, is it you guys who have to put the title, Image, and who wrote the comic book series? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the production work, right? And again, if you look at the inside front covers, you'll see that there's people who get credit for that. So I mean, there's sort of the boring part that people don't sort of give enough credit to, which is the books have to get like done, right? They have to get done. The ads have to get put in. The pages have to get put together. That when the lettering comes, the lettering has to be put onto it, and so all that has to be done at some point by a human being. And so everybody's got super talented people who come in and do that part. And part of it is, we just have the files, if you will, for the logos and things like that. So, okay, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys here. Here again, if you're working on a tablet here, that I'll just go quick. It'll be way quicker. If you take a fat pen, right? I'm gonna try and I want to give some shade behind his head. Why? Just because, again, trying to think of lighting on it. But sometimes you can just get in there and drop in a couple of blacks, and I'll probably do it at the end. I'll come in with my bigger black. But sometimes you can overdo it. But if you're trying to do something that's got a little bit of kind of a cool texture on it or something like that, right? You can, and again, be inconsistent with it. Right, I can do some dark patches here. I can do some dark patches up here. But anyways, then I can just hit white, right? And I can go and I can do a thin pen, and then I can just come in, and I can just do some really nice little detail splatter effects that come in here. And if I want to break up and fade it up in here, right, I can just come in here. Or if I want to add veins, so let's just add some veins, I can just do these big long sort of strokes here of white that give me the veins or something like that. And then that black that kind of didn't look that kind of cool and impressive, then you pull it back and it looks a lot more impressive. So anyway, there's ways to sort of cheat a lot of this stuff and make it look really cool and not have to like labor over it. So anyways, sorry for interrupting you.
Oh, no, it's actually no problem. Also, last one. So basically, you guys are looking for some talent, right?
We're always looking for talent. Yes.
Oh, okay. So I have also this question that is related to my comic book. So
Yep.
basically, I have this one issue. So I am working on an issue right now, and I was just asking. So basically, if I start the issue with the when my main character starts to basically describe the day when he's working, and then I go to action, like it's not gonna be boring, but it's gonna like go straight ahead. Where my detective, he's an elf guy. He came from a planet. So yeah, so he's like just narrating everything what he does that day, and then boom, he literally sees a robbery happening. So yeah, he literally starts shooting, and then the robbers go like, "Damn, how dare you?" And then he goes, "Well, do you feel lucky, punk?" So basically, I'm just asking, so is that how I'm supposed to start an issue? So it wouldn't be boring, because I'm trying to write the script. It has to be good.
So here's what I would say. I don't believe that there's any right or wrong to any story. There's stories that start quiet and then end with a bang. There's stories that start with the bang, right? They call them the inciting act, to get people's attention. A lot of movies, a lot of TV shows, if you watch and you pay attention, right? Especially, these like 6, 7, 8-parter shows you're watching, right? Within the first 15, 20 minutes, they try to hook you, right? And so they do something, and then you go, oh my God. And then, and all of a sudden it's like somebody's dead, right? And it's like, oh, dun, dun, dun. And now, that the rest of the show is going to be like, who killed them? So there's a lot of different ways to get there. I would just say that don't worry necessarily about how and what the order is. Just make sure that the rest of the book is as entertaining as your first couple pages, or what you're doing in your first couple pages is building towards something bigger than that, right? So
yeah, so that is what I am exactly going at. So yeah, basically, thank you. And this was a great time, actually, Todd. Seriously, so many months I was waiting for this moment. Seriously,
right.
Thanks, dude.
So what
Okay,
I'm gonna Rem, what I'm also gonna do here.
Yep.
I'm gonna since we've got a little bit of time here, I've done this before, and we can let the audience decide here a little. I don't know how we get them to vote, but
I'll monitor chat and let you know.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a drawing here, and I'm gonna do like, quote unquote, the skinny version of it.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna do like the football player version of it.
Ooh,
right?
the beefed up version.
The beef gum.
Gotcha.
And the thing is that I'll be able to keep about 70% of what I have, right?
Okay.
And to get to what it is that I want, I'm just gonna click a layer, and then I'll just let people decide which one they sort of go, oh man, I like the gnarly little skinny dude because he just seems creepy, or I like the big beefy guy. So
Sounds good. Let's go for it. Also, just so you know, the plan is that we're going to release this as a one of one, as well as everybody here in the audience. You guys watching this will only be able to mint this piece of work Art's doing for OCT. So again, only people who showed up to this event live are going to be able to mint this piece of art. And so if you actually end up with like 2 variations of it, that's actually perfect. We could give one variation to everybody here, and then there's going to be one of one variation that'll be like 3D, interactable, and cool. So maybe we can figure out, if there's variations, which one's the one of one and which one goes to everybody.
Okay.
That'd be perfect. All right. Well, we're going to keep going through some questions. JB, I saw you had your hand up. I know you had a question. Feel free to go ahead and ask it. Also, I'm going to bring up Raul next if you would like to help with translation.
Yeah, sure. Hey, what's up, Rem? How you doing? How you doing, Todd?
Excellent. How you been?
All good, all good. Just want to make a quick announcement here for the Spanish-speaking community. Para todos, bienvenidos al evento que estamos disfrutando ahorita de ver a Todd en vivo. Les recuerdo que si tienen alguna duda para traducir su pregunta al inglés, me pueden etiquetar en el chat con todo gusto y los ayudo para hacer la traducción. Por si no hablan inglés, aquí estamos para ayudarlos. Y recuerden que este dibujo que nos está haciendo todo en vivo se va a convertir en un coleccionable que vas a poder mintear totalmente gratis y aparte se va a hacer una edición especial que se va a subastar en los OCTs, que son nuestros OddKey Community Tokens. Así que sigan pendientes y vamos a seguir disfrutando de todo cómo nos hace el monstruo, ya sea bulky o sea skinny monster. It's an awesome drawing, Todd. I now realize that if we put a mirror maybe at the front of the nose and the teeth, we already had the full a full head, you know.
Yep. But actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump to before I go and do the thick guy. I'm gonna work on the eye. I'm gonna show you how to have fun with an eye. So you ask your question, and I'm just gonna do something here that I'll be able to show people another sort of trick here. So
well, now that you're mentioning, I was not thinking about the question, just the announcement. But now that you're asking, I think I would like to ask you about how do you think about our new OddKey logo?
Our new what now?
The OddKey logo.
I don't know if I understand the question.
Yeah, our new OddKey logo, the one.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's cool. What about you? What about you? How do you like it?
Well, I was the one who did the first the first image that I think.
Oh, maybe... okay. Well, shoot, then you're biased. I can't ask you. You're biased, man.
I hate it. Bezo, I hate. No, I'm just kidding. It's a great logo.
Yeah, no, I think that I'm surprising you that now that I can tell that I have a collaboration with Todd McFarlane designing a logo.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Thanks for your help. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Well, that's it. Thanks a lot, and let's keep having fun here.
Yeah, for sure. I know we got Raul here up on stage as well. Raul, what's going on, man? And if you need help translating, Jabezel's here for you.
Okay, so let me tell you how this eyeball is going to work.
Oh, absolutely.
Bit. Okay, so you come in here, and then I need to put like some kind of make it feel like it's got a sheen to it. Let's say, right? Mm-hmm. So I'll come in here. And maybe I'll do another layer just because I screwed up here. So I'll come in here. Sometimes you even do like little sort of sheens like this, right? Make sure that I got some stuff down here. But here's where let me go a little bit smaller here. Then I'll do like some feathering on here, right? So there's a couple of different ways to feather. You can either go soft, hard, which is what I'm doing here, or I'll do it the other way on the other side. Or you can do hard, soft, right? So this is you press hard and then you taper. And you do it this way. There's two different ways to feather. Everybody just finds sort of the way that works best for them or gives them the effect that they want, one way or the other, that's in here. As you can see, it starts to give a little bit of a sheen there. I don't know if you guys can see that. See, it starts to create a bit of a sense of sheen on it. And then I can do it here. Now, I'm not going to make it quite as aggressive as I did on the other side and then I'm even going to make it feel like it's going around his head just a little bit. And this might not be sort of the final of how I want it to look. But then what ends up happening is I can take that, I can layer that in there. But now what I can do, which is sort of the fun part, is that I don't know if you guys can see up above where the layers are, but it's at 100%. I can now take that eye and I can move it in and out, right? And so you then go, oh man, what would be kind of cool, so that it feels like there's a little bit more of a. So it's not exactly matching all the black and white of the surrounding skin, So it just feels like he's wearing the equivalent to somebody wearing sunglasses, if you will. And then I can come back in on top of that, and then I can come back in with black and do the highlights of it. And then if I want, as part of the black there, I can add, let's say if I want to give a highlight just to give just a little bit more bite to it, I can do it that way. So anyway, there's no right or wrong to any of this, but there's, like I said, there's just sort of fun ways to get to it. What I don't have at my disposal right now, I might be able to get there. I'll see if I can find the pen. I can do like an airbrush and sort of fog it even more to give it even more of a realistic sort of feel to it. So as you're asking the question, let me see if I can find that brush.
Yeah, what's going on? Raw, you got a question? I see you hopped up on stage.
Hi, hi Rem, hi Todd, hi JP.
How you doing?
I had one question, and is when you draw a spawn, who is the sorry, I need to read the question.
That's okay.
Puedes decir en español, no te preocupes, Raúl, y yo le digo, cuando dibujas...
Okay. Sorry.
¿Cuál era la pregunta?
¿Qué es lo que más disfrutas de dibujar Spawn?
Okay. Like, what's the thing that you enjoy the most when you are drawing Spawn, Todd?
I'm a big fan of capes. If somebody hasn't noticed, so I like capes. And I like sort of putting him in dark places so that he just feels less like a superhero and more like a creature, a monster, right? I was just having this conversation with somebody in Hollywood that I just go, no, man, when he spawned, like he stops being a human to me and he becomes a beast, right? And to me, I think he's just super cool when he's just a beast. So that's sort of it. So I just, because when you're a beast, you can scare people. And so that's
nice.
it.
Okay, let me translate very quick. So, sí, dice que le gusta mucho dibujar capas al momento de dibujar Spawn. Las capas es algo que le fascina y utilizarlas de manera que Spawn o sí, cualquiera que esté dibujando deje de parecer un humano y parezca más una bestia, porque eso platicó con alguien también de Hollywood, que le impresiona mucho con esta persona que habló al momento que Spawn deja de ser solo un humano o una especie de superhéroe, antihéroe y se convierte en una bestia. Y pues sabemos que la capa de Spawn es un elemento muy, muy importante en el personaje. Pero sí, por eso es lo que más le gusta, utilizar ese elemento de la capa para hacerlo más maléfico.
Dos cosas rápidas. Primero que thank you for answering my question, and that alien art looks so amazing. I like this type of draws. Esta sí la tengo que decir en español.
Sí, no te preocupes.
Pues que me gusta mucho ver los trabajos de Todd, y en algún momento pues me gustaría trabajar en Image y todo eso, y muchas gracias por responder la pregunta.
Claro que sí. Yeah, he said that he likes a lot to see all your work, Todd, and he expects that sometimes he could work for you on Image. And thanks a lot for answering his question.
Yeah, sure. My pleasure.
Appreciate you coming up, Raw.
Thanks.
What's going on, Spawn?
Oh, Rem, I'm gonna share just a quick comment on the chat. It's one of the Spanish-speaking community members. It's about El Rey Kaiser, King Kaiser. He just want to say that he's very impressed with your style, Todd, and so many times he been trying to repeat your style, but he says that it's impossible to replicate, and that you are his favorite artist. It's about from the King Kaiser.
It's interesting because I don't know that I could teach somebody my style. I've said before, because I make up decisions literally at as I'm drawing it, right? And so if I was to try and draw a monster tomorrow, even if somebody said, "Hey, do a monster with a big eye and a skinny neck," it wouldn't come out the same. Or even the line that I'm doing right now, right? And when I'm inking, even like a Spawn or a Batman Spawn or something like that, Spider-Man, when I was doing it. However I ink that day, if you had given me that exact same page to ink the next day, it would look slightly different because I would make different choices, right? So,
Right.
I mean, so like over here, I might go this way, but if I was to do it tomorrow, I might go this way, and I might go fatter. Who knows? I don't know. I just got, because I'm just constantly just playing with it. So, anyways, so that's why it becomes hard for me to try and teach people the style, because I don't even know what I'm doing from moment to moment, other than just trying to make it look cool. And then you get to the point where you go, is that cool enough? Should I stop now? Oh yeah, man, cool, right? So again, once you shrink it down, then you go, okay, right? And so I'm going, all right. The only thing I'm seeing here is that I think I need more black to hold and frame the eyeball, because I think the eyeball's pretty big. So I think it doesn't feel like it's inset in the eye. This is the anatomy part I'm constantly thinking about. So to get it inset into the eye, I think I need more black up in these areas here, so that it feels like it's sitting inside this a little bit more. And the problem is, once you make that choice, then you go, oh, now I got to make these a little bit thicker, and whatever. So yeah, that's the problem with being an artist. You're always like constantly second guessing your own work at times, going, oh man, I could do this. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do this. So,
This alien's in for a mean eye gouge.
there you go.
What's going on, Spawn? 1992. Welcome to stage, buddy.
Thank you. Todd, how you doing? How you been?
Good, killing it. I don't got any complaints, man. Don't worry about the old man. He's okay. He's gonna be okay. If I got hit by a bus tomorrow, it was a good life. So,
Quite a question that it's been plaguing me for a while, and even my son asked, and he's just a little guy. He's going to be 10. We both wondered your love for Jack Kirby, and you did work with Kirby. What did you ever in your career, and even coming up and when you first started, did you ever have a want? And what's your thoughts on? And if you had the chance to do it, would you have done it? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you did. To work with Steve Ditko. What's your views on Steve Ditko? And maybe, if you ever had the chance to do it, would you have done it? Or if you did
sure. Yeah, Ditko was the guy that when I did Spider-Man, I was looking at his stuff way more because I thought his stuff was way more funky, right? And so I thought the two words I'd use on Ditko is like funky and quirky, right? It wasn't pretty. The anatomy wasn't perfect. That was John Romita Sr. who came after him and did the perfect looking, handsome looking Spider-Man and Peter Parker. Where I thought Steve Ditko, who was the guy who did the first 30 issues or so of Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, back in the early 60s, I thought his stuff was just odd to look at, which I thought was perfect for that character because he was a spider, right? A Spider-Man. And so, yeah, what would have been cool is if I could have met him and said, hey, you pencil something, let me ink it. So take your 60s vibe and then let's give it like a 90s, 2000s kind of skin on top of it. And then what would that look like? I don't know.
Gosh, next level, Todd. That would have been that would be a dream. My two Spider-Man artists in all my years since I've been a kid, my favorites are you and Ditko. And Ditko came as I got older, almost like you refine your taste with like things in life, and it's you and Ditko in the forefront always for me now. So
yeah, well, like I said, Ditko is one of the sort of the giants that I've got a piece of him and all my stuff. So, yeah.
It just a real quick question.
Do it.
We missed you at New York Comic Con, and it's been 2019 was the last time I got to see you, and through the years, and it's always a pleasure. And I was wondering, did you ever think, and maybe the promoters, but even yourself, because I know you're smart with that, and you're good organizing things like that, like a Todd McFarlane experience like Jim Lee does, so we can get the chance to meet you, since it's, and I know you have deadlines in the movie, but I was wondering if that's something that you thought of, that, hey, maybe, the fans that don't get to see it, we can buy advanced tickets and not have the bots get it, and get to meet you. And because my son, he's done, I've met you tons of times. I met you all the way back at Philly Comic Con in 1993, but it's one of those things where it just seems it's like a little bit harder ever since before COVID. Now it's like really tough to like even get a ticket to see you anymore.
I don't know, what is Jim do? I'm not familiar with what Jim does.
They have a thing on their website, the Jim Lee Experience. I guess you can do a thing where you pay X amount of dollars and he does like a little sketch, but then there's like an ultimate thing. But I'm guessing, you could tailor it to how you want to tailor it, obviously. And
and I should know, because Jim is a good friend. I should just phone him and go, "What the hell is this thing they're talking about?" But he this is at a show, or what?
This was at New York, correct? When he was at New York, you can pay in advance and you can do the Jim Lee Experience, and he has X amount of tickets. And I thought to myself in my head, I thought, Todd is an amazing business guy, and it's like way more revenue for you in your pocket. Not that, but extra is always good, I would think. And it's just something I think would be neat for the fans too, because you're so interactive with the fans. And even Brittany at CGC said, Todd, I talked to her the one time in chat, and she said, Todd, you just have a different thing about you. Other artists are quirky and fun, but you just something with the fans. You just bring us in, and it just gets us excited. You know that. I mean,
so, but I'm still trying to figure out what Jim does. So that's during the show or after the show? Is it in a private room? What is it? I'm trying to, like, if I went to his thing, where do I go? How do I meet him?
I think they have it in a separate area, and it's a private room. I'm sure Jim can give you the details. I would think he would know better than I would, obviously. But I'm guessing it's in its own separate area of New York. But they had it last year, and I know they did it this year again. And it's very well received, and it sells out every time. So it's one of those things, where I think it would be awesome for you, and I think it would be great for fans too. It's just because to have a Todd McFarlane experience after all these years of us fans following him, it's something that kind of would be revolutionary in your corner, and kind of say, hey, everybody knows who you are, but I think it would just give you that much more like, hey, it's Todd, he's back. You just get ready.
Man, big bad Todd. Here's what I would say. I probably will or get sort of doing more of those kinds of things once I get a little bit older than I am right now, and I'm beginning to slow down, and I just want to sort of travel and say hi to people, and I don't have to feel like I've got a deadline that I'm coming back home to, right? Jim doesn't need the money either, because he makes a good living. So I'm always sort of a little bit hesitant of sort of saying, hey, come meet me. Usually you can get me for free, and then, you got to charge money for it. So I don't know. I've always gotten a little bit odd with that. The only thing I do for money is once every 3 years or so, I'll do a CGC signing, but that's oddly, most of the people who send in their comic don't even care about getting it graded. It's the only way they can get an autograph from me, because they may live in North Dakota or in Spain or someplace, and they go, I'm never going to be at San Diego Comic-Con and or New York Comic-Con, let alone, even if I am, be lucky enough to win the lotto or something like that. It's just way easier to just just way easier to just send in a comic book, Todd to sign my comic book and send it back to me. Oh, okay, cool. And it gets graded? Okay, that's bonus time, right? So, because I know when I talk to people at CGC, they're like, the number of first-time submitters is like huge to them because they're just going. These are people who just want to some extent, they just want your autograph, Todd. They don't really care about the graded part of this whole thing. So I mean, all that's done, all that's doable. I just, I always consider myself the proverbial tortoise, and I got this like long play that I'm always sort of thinking I'm doing, and it's like there'll be a time and a place for everything, and right now might not be it. I don't, like I said, I can do the interaction, and maybe we'll do it. We try to do it at the shows, and not necessarily charge money. And then maybe as I get older and I'm doing less work, and I could use a few dollars in my pocket, then I could do it. But
makes sense.
To each, and again, those that do it, like, God bless them, right? I mean, everybody has a different reason for doing what they're doing, right? So Jim Lee has 12 kids or something like that, right? So he's got a lot. So I just go, shoot, I don't know how he keeps them fed. Anyways, I appreciate people wanting to come, because I get it, because I wanted that with the people I looked up to, but I also don't do a lot of conventions, period. I'm a bit of a homebody.
Right. Hey, and quick, do you have any preliminary sketches for Spawn 400, your cover? Just want to know. Do you have it in the
400?
works?
Holy heck.
Oh, 400. God, you're there.
400, man. We just got up to, I think we're working on 361 internally right now. So
right around the corner.
Yeah, no, actually, oddly, it will come and creep up on us faster than I probably think. So
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming up, Spawn. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys. And I just want to say Discord is awesome, because you know what? If we don't get to see you at the conventions, Todd, you're gracious enough to give us your time here at Remdog. All you guys, I mean, A+. There's no community like this one. You could have a million other ones, but this is the best because, hey, you take your time out of your day to talk to us, and we love it. So thank you guys.
All right, bring your son next time. You can get him to ask a question. Yep.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Spawn. Have a good Friday. Todd, real quick, just so I know, we're coming up on an hour and a half. How locked in on the drawing are you?
Oh, okay. I'm getting there. Okay, so I'll finish it up here. We'll do a couple more questions.
Rush. I just wanted to know so we could either start speedrunning questions or.
No, how about we do another 3, 4, and then I'll be done.
All right, sounds good. So we're gonna go through 3 or 4 more questions, and then, my goodness, is this the bulky Brawl version?
Yeah.
This thing got beefy. All right, we're gonna go through 3, 4 more questions, and then I just want to remind everybody out in the audience again. This piece of art Todd's drawing currently, only you guys here in the audience live will be able to mint this for OddKey community tokens. So we had over 140 different people stop by tonight. You guys will be the only ones to get this piece of art on blockchain. Just make sure you keep an eye out on announcements next week for that. Texas Red, what's going on, man? Thank you for being patient.
Yeah, I appreciate you bringing up the time when it's my turn to ask a question so we could speed run through this.
Yeah, speed run through Texas Red specifically.
Todd, wanted to ask you, I wanted to piggyback off what you said earlier. There are people that aren't able to come and see you, and they do everything they can just so they can get a signature from you. With that said, one of the reasons that a lot of us came on here was in hopes of getting Todd's original. You had mentioned previously that you were never selling your IP. But if we ever wanted an IP, an original, it would be a digital. So, I mean, I've been here since day one, and I would love to get some of your more popular IPs versus, the last time you've been drawing has been nothing but monsters. I'd love to get an original Gunslinger from you. I'd love to get an original Spawn. I'd love to get a Cygor, an Overkill, some of those more popular IPs that we grew up with in the 90s. What are your intentions, basically? Is there anything that you can give us down the road where it's an original IP on digital for us?
Yeah. So a lot of the sketches I've done in the past have been those characters that you just mentioned, right? So, but Jake and Rem can take the temperature of the crowd, and if they want to basically take a vote on like this is what we want Todd to draw today, right? I can do that, right? So if it's, I mean, because those are existing IPs. The character that you're seeing me draw right here, you're right, it is a monster, but Spawn lives in a world of like sort of demons and angels and creatures and all these other things that essentially what you're seeing in front of you is a new IP, right? This character could now be in issue 370 and become, you know, let's say the new Violator or something like that. So I don't care. I mean, I'm pretty easy. I'm pretty easy about what I'm drawing, right? If the fan base wants to see something else, we want to put up a vote in there, and they want to see something that they're used to and they're comfortable with, then I don't care. I'm here answering questions. I'll do it anyway. I'll do it any way you guys like.
When you released those doodles, the original art of the Redeemer, the Haunt, and the Monolith, those were, I believe, in my opinion, some of the most popular and the fastest ones to get minted out almost immediately. That's because people knew, hey, these are the characters that we grew up with that I know. That's why a lot of people are looking forward to get those original IPs on digital from you, and we want to see you like take your time to draw a Spawn like this, and we're like, man, this is amazing. I can't believe I'm actually gonna get this from Todd, because I would have never gotten it any other way.
Yeah, we can do it. Rem, you heard him.
I heard the man. Next time we do a live drawing, we'll do a community vote for which characters y'all want to see.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you, Todd. Thank you for always appeasing your fans, man. We are your biggest fans, and we're always going to be here to support you, brother. Keep up your good work.
Yeah, appreciate the suggestion.
Yeah, roger that.
Thanks, Texas. I'll keep a note down. We'll make sure it gets done. All right, we're going to go through a few more questions here. Joseph, welcome to stage.
What's cooking, guys?
What's going on?
Well, Todd, before I ask you the question, I wanted to know if you're aware that you are still to this day the only person that has done 110 Akira Metal Gear Solid action figures.
Oh, really?
Do you remember how the hell you got the Akira license way back then?
Yeah, I just bugged the shit out of them. Because Akira was a big thing to me, right? It had a big influence on me, and they were pretty particular about saying yes, and so I just noodled. And then to some extent, I was able to then take some of the other toys I had made, right? And I just showed them that, and I just said, hey, it'd be this kind of quality. What do you guys think? So, that was it. So let me. Just persistence. So hopefully,
it is insane how nobody has been able to get it besides you, and Medicom does 1/6, but that's it. Nobody has done it.
Okay, Rem.
Yes.
Rem, here we are. So this is that one. I should be able to click it off and on now, right? There's like
Skinny Boy.
There's like Skinny Boy, gnarly sort of zombie kind of guy, which is cool because like little creatures, fucking black spiders and whatever else, and then you just got fucking big beef boy.
The first guy you're looking at and you're like, that's creepy. Second guy you look at and you're like, that guy's gonna kill me.
Yeah. So he does a guy beat your ass. There's a guy kick your ass at the bar, right? Yeah. So anyways, I'll just
Well, what we could do is we could do 4 variants, and then the one of ones just have your signature on them. That way people could collect the skinny variant and the large variant, the thick boy, and then the one of ones just have your signature on them.
Okay.
You guys want to do that? The 4 variants idea? Chat, let me know.
Oh, look, I can even go let's keep going. I can go even cooler here. So keep going, and then I'm gonna play with this even more.
Sounds good. Yes, and everybody loves the 4 variants idea, so we'll just go ahead and go with that. Joseph, what's your question, man?
All right, Todd. So now that you're doing marble statues, there's a Marvel character that used to be part of the Spawn universe. Do you have any plans on doing a statue of her?
Oh man, you know what? Good call. Like fuck, why didn't I think of that one? That's a pretty good call.
Would be crazy if it actually scales with your Spawn figures too, right?
Yeah. So there's a character called Angela that was part of years and years ago some legal dispute between myself, creator, and then after the dispute, eventually got settled, and we split a couple of the characters. He sold one of the pieces of that settlement to Marvel, which was and I think they said she became like Thor's sister or something. I don't remember. Somebody was telling me what it was. But yeah, that's actually a pretty good one, dude. So
Chase variant that from her.
Yeah, no, that yeah, I think the fans would dig that actually. I'm going to steal the idea, but so it's not really stealing. So, but anyway.
Well,
awesome.
Thank you for your time.
All right, be good.
Have a good Friday, Joseph. We're going to go through about BK. So I'm going to unknown. I shot you Will Wallstrom. Oh, BK, raise your hand again. Whoever cuts up here first. BK, welcome to stage, man. You're on mute, buddy. Go ahead and ask your question.
All right, I think we're good now.
Yep.
How's it going, everyone? What's up, Todd? What's up,
What are you doing, dude?
Man, I am just kicking back, enjoying listening to everyone talk, and I'm just starting this Friday off. Great to be here. Looking forward to this long week. Hopefully you're good as well.
Oh good. Yeah, I'm always good. And if I'm not, I'd lie to you. So I'm too competitive to let somebody have a better day than me.
100%. Well, to keep it fast, since we're on time, going into it, I didn't know really what I wanted to say, but I think something this might be a little interesting potentially. I was just wondering if you, as far as the Spawn movie, you have that going on. Have you started to film?
It's in development. We'll keep saying that right now, which is true. But at some point, the only thing you guys care about is like Todd, when can we go see it, right? So my wife is sort of just said, Todd, stop talking about it. Just tell them when they can see it, right? So
I feel that. I understand. Sometimes it's good to just kind of mention it as it's coming out.
Yeah. Because I don't have control. This is the frustrating thing about I don't have control over it, right? So in terms of I don't own a studio, right? So if I did, then I could give you a date, but we need somebody else's studio to sort of say yes to us. So anyway, yeah.
It's dealing with other people as well.
Yeah. That's the blessing, the curse of having other people. Sometimes they add really good stuff to it, but you're on their ride, and they sometimes get to dictate the ebb and flow of some of it. So as you can imagine, a guy puts out a comic book every week and puts out lots and lots of toys, right? Hollywood is a slow moving glacier to me. So it can be it can be a bit aggravating. And especially now as the years go by, we're not talking weeks or months, we're talking years are going by. So,
are you planning on cameoing in your movie, like Stan Lee?
if it makes sense, right? I mean, I wouldn't do it just for the sake of doing it. I mean, I was in the first movie that we did, so maybe. Well, like I said, we'll see if it's something that feels like it's not just doing something for vanity's sake. So,
right. But if it was,
awesome. Thanks, BK.
Awesome. I had one more quick question I was just going to ask or mention. Upon or during development for the film, I was just curious as an idea. I know that being some of your fans are so into the film coming out and the idea of it. Is it possible that maybe some way you might be able to run something or open something in the community where potentially, if people are able to get to the film site, maybe they could apply to be like an extra in the film, like in background or something like that, like a non
maybe
thing.
Maybe it's a good idea. I've always liked it when you sort of make some kind of fun event for the fans. So I'll be asking all those questions and hoping that the people we're dealing with like to have as much fun as we do. So
yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, so good to hear.
Yeah. Appreciate you, BK.
Cool. Yeah. All right, guys. Everyone have a good night. Cheers, OddKey.
Okay. So let me see here. Oh, that's the eyeball. So let's see.
Wow. I like the squinty eye.
So there's Skinny and there's Beef Boy, right? So they're pretty dramatic, right? So but again, that's just taking like the back half of their head and sort of miss. So anyways.
That's awesome. Those look sweet. And yeah, I think the final consensus is the 4 variants. So if we could have like one unsigned, one with like your signature for each, that way everybody here, you could actually mint 2 pieces of art for the price of 1.
Oh, okay.
Lucky you guys.
That's it. All right. We'll do both because they're both kind of gnarly in their own way. So
awesome. Well, Todd, I know I accidentally brought one more person up. If it's all right, we could take one more question, then we'll close out the space for the night.
Do it.
All right. Unknown Will. What's going on, Will? Thank you for your patience.
All right. Hello. My goodness, I cannot believe this. All right. So I just gotta say this and that stuff. This is gonna relate to my question, Todd. I love the way you draw Batman and that stuff. The reason you are one of the main reasons why I am into the long ear and long cape Batman and that stuff, because even though this is an underrated comic, Batman Year 2 was I really liked the cape work and that stuff. So my question is that how did you come up with that basic design for Batman? Were other people doing it as well, but not Neil Adams and that stuff, but was it how did you come up with that design for when you were working on DC and that stuff?
There were plenty of cool Batmans out there when I was a kid, and so I just took all the sort of fun pieces that I liked out of those and applied that to some of the drawings. Everything is just an amalgamation of what you've seen before, right?
True.
So I just sort of borrow little bits and pieces of all the people that I like, and then I just sort of mix it together, and it becomes my own recipe, and that becomes your own style. So the big cape was Marshall Rogers, right? So I'm just converting my monster to Batman since you're talking about Batman.
I was gonna say.
So and then the ears and some of that came from different other characters that were there. The points on the shoulders all came from Bill Sienkiewicz. Did this cool, I don't know, it was a giant-sized Batman or something like that. I thought it was super cool. So I just go, man, if I ever draw Batman, I want to draw it just like that. That'd be cool. And you don't do it exactly the same because everybody will know. And you just go, oh, shoot. And you just come up with your own little, oh, man, I can't put the ear on here. But you just come up with your own little thing. And then people will go, hopefully, they'll look at what you're doing the way you used to look at theirs. And they go, oh, man, look at what Todd did. Man, if I ever do Batman, I'm going to do that. That'd be cool. So everybody's just having fun. All you're doing is just having fun, entertaining yourself, right? So.
Right. Wait, can I ask like one more question, and that's like fun and that stuff? So like you worked with Frank Miller like on like a Spawn and like Batman collab and all that. My question was like, what was it like? How did you feel like working with like Frank and like all of that? Like, was he like how he was like during like when like during his prime or like during his like downfall and that stuff?
Downfall. I don't know if he's had a downfall, but yeah, no, I was fortunate to be working with him when he was at the hottest point of his career. He was just coming off Dark Knight, hadn't done Batman for a while, and then I said, hey, you haven't done Batman? Guess what? I just made this deal. I can put Batman in Spawn. You're a bit of a rebel rouser. Why don't we go and do some damage? And he just was like, shit. So you're saying we can do Batman and we can do whatever we want? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, shit, I'm in. So yeah, sometimes you get lucky, right? You get lucky that you get to have fun working with people that you either grew up with or you enjoyed. And so Frank was one of them. So, but. All right.
Awesome.
All right, Dad.
Okay. Hey, there's another Rem Dog. There's another version. Look, we can even do our masked version here, right? Given that there's no ears or anything, so I'm not going to be treading on anything. I can do this.
Yeah,
right?
I love it. I think the audience is saying the exact same thing. Third version, Batman version.
The Masked Avenger. We're just like whatever we call it. There it is. One,
I love it.
2, 3.
Three for the price of one. You heard the man. That's awesome.
Boom. So there we go.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you guys all for tuning in to this space. Again, keep an eye out on the announcements. We'll get these out to you guys over the next week or so. And really appreciate your time. And we'll be doing this again in the future. So make sure you stick around. Todd, you got anything to say?
Appreciate everybody showing up on a Friday. Hope to talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend, everybody.